America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to
We're losing our democracy!
More inflation. What a stupid son of a bitch.
Wake up!
Before we get into that, let's get into this.
How's it going, everybody? And welcome to the Liberty Bowl. So, we've been out of the live stream, the way that we normally are for a couple weeks now, mainly because we've been having some technical difficulties with both Skype and with I guess not technical difficulties, but ideological differences with YouTube. So we are back this week, and actually we're still having issues with Skype. So old Swine over there actually cannot see me right now. He could only hear me, and then you could watch the live stream as well. But we're basically just reworking out the technical glitches. But either way, we are here. It is a Liberty Bowl live stream Friday. A whole lot to talk about from this week. Obviously, from the end of my last stream on Friday, apparently, just within hours after I finished streaming, a whole lot went down in Israel this week. I did release my hot take on it. I believe it was Monday or Tuesday or something like that. And we're basically just going to be talking about that. Essentially, it's could possibly be the start of World War III, or it could just be more conflict in Israel. What else is new in the world, right? But either way, all of the videos and everything that have been coming out, obviously, horrible shit. If I can, heart wrenching for anybody to watch. Crazy times that we're living in right now, man. Fucking absolutely fucking nuts, bro. So what's your take on this? Obviously, you saw my video, my kind of a stance on the whole situation, which is generally, kind of a American anti-intervention. Essentially, America first. But what's your stance on it, or what's your thoughts?
I mean, my stance, of course, is the same. Non-intervention, route for sure. I don't think we need to be involved in another conflict. But of course, they're going to use this to pump the troops, or try to for election season, because presidents at war usually get reelected, man. And obviously, the comical take on it is you're seeing Ukraine's be tossed aside like the last toy played with. And I don't want to play with you no more. The meme, man.
Yeah.
And but the thing that I hate to see is of course you got the left who are pro-Palestine. It's all good to be a terrorism as long as you're decolonizing, right? And then on the right you have a lot of these people that the far right that are like basically on the side of the savages, as if they're your buddies and stuff, right? I mean, against the Jews.
Right.
But it's, to me, people seem to forget, like, the enemy of your enemy is not your friend, man.
Right.
Like, these people will do the same thing to you. And me not being like some huge Zionist supporter or whatever, at the same token, these people have the right to defend themselves. And I know if someone came in and murdered my family in my house, not only would I want to kill them in theirs, but I'd burn their fucking house down afterwards. So, I mean, you fuck around and find out to the maximum, I guess.
Well, I mean, for that one, case in point, C 9/11, that's essentially, you came into our house and attacked us, and well, you pretty much know the rest,
Yeah, and then speaking of 9/11, it's you always hear conservative Inc. Don't compare everything to the Holocaust. Everything's not 9/11. But
Right.
yet after this happened, that's conservative Inc. It's 9/11. It's the Holocaust all over again. And to compare numbers or something is completely ridiculous, right? If the numbers are accurate, World War II, 6 million Jews killed. Now there's 1,000, and they're like, it's the Holocaust again. I mean, it's always, to the extremes these days.
Yeah. It's, I do got to admit, this type of, the propaganda that we're being faced with today, it is difficult. It's difficult to kind of look past. Obviously, my stance is anti-intervention, but in order to come to that stance, I'll be honest, I do have to take it with a grain of principle, you know. I can't just straight like, you know, like whatever, you know. It's not like you know, I mean, obviously, it's not just like like me, just like, I don't care about anybody else, you know. It's basically doing what's right for the country and what's, you know, ultimately right for the rest of the world in the grand scheme of things, to basically get America out of being a, you know, continuous world police, you know, constant intervention in all of the world's issues, and basically to it, you know, like I say, I have to take it down with a grain of principle. Honestly, I can argue, you know, both sides of the argument, and it's, you know, obviously when it comes to arguing something, you actually have to believe in it to be able to argue it, you know, properly. But ultimately, really, if I truly wanted to, I could argue both sides of it. Yeah, I could argue, you know, we need to fucking stomp out the savages. You know, I could argue that side all day if I wanted to. I could argue also, you know, the side that I do stand on, which is, you know, America just needs to focus on America. Basically, we are the start of the majority of all the world's problems, you know, and basically all of our efforts to solve the world's problems has only made things worse. So obviously, you know, the best choice is to you know, have America stand out, you know, just, you know, focus on America first. And but then again, at the same time, I mean, it is something that is inevitably, you know, as we heard their leaders already saying, it is inevitably going to make it onto you know, our soil, you know. So it's almost kind of like one of those, like, well, do we take them out beforehand, or do we you know, obviously the Lindsey Graham answer would be fucking, oh, well, we don't need no evidence. Let's just go fucking bomb them. Let's go carpet the place. Like,
Yeah.
But you know, honestly, like I said, I could really argue both sides of the argument. But whenever I do argue the, I guess, neocon, you know, warmonger side, basically, you know, we're the world power, you know, fucking everybody should bow to us and do what the fuck we say, you know, because fucking whoever holds the biggest stick is the one who rules the fucking world, and that's us. You know, I could argue that all day, but at the same time, the only way that I'm able to argue that is I have to basically argue it out of a point of fear, out of basically a point of, you know, we have to kill them before they kill us. You know, like fucking they're coming for us. They're savages. They want to rape our children and shit. You know, I have to approach it from that angle. So really, ultimately, yeah, obviously in my opinion, the best solution on the side of America is basically, you know, stay out of it. I mean, obviously with the, like, we have the warship out in the ocean right off the coast right now. I mean, I could even be okay with that, you know, if it's just really kind of guarding from anything else, basically being able to intervene, or, you know, basically just kind of, all right, you know, let them handle out their shit, you know, nobody else fucking trying to take advantage of the situation, anything like that. And that's it, you know, as far as America playing that role, fine. You know, I could even, you know, be okay with that. But ultimately, I know that it's not going to stop there. If we put a fucking warship out in the ocean, it's going to get used, because that's just what we do, you know?
Shit, I mean, to me, playing security guards, it's even too far. You know what I mean? And like, you hear the speeches out of the admin right now, like, you know, we're going to replenish the missiles needed for the Iron Dome. We don't even have an Iron Dome. You know what I mean? And one of the terms that grabbed me the most was old Pence out here. Like, we're basically we're the artillery of democracy. Like, we're not even a democracy. And man, we've already broke ourselves being, you know, the arsenal of the world. And you know, we've spent you know, there was a point here recently where we went past $1 trillion in a single month. You know what I mean? Like, from the start of the country until like 1981, we borrowed $1 trillion in 105 years. Now, you know, now it's you know, we're over 33. The last thing we need to do, I mean, we need to focus on ourselves. And as far as it happening here, it's because of Biden's open border. And we already know at least 150 have been apprehended that were on the FBI's terror list. And if they think that that's where it stops, or, you know, we did something good, that's, you know, that's a speck in the bucket, man.
Well, see, that's a, you know, another thing too is, obviously, you know, we do need to focus on our economy and stuff, but you know, it's not just the border that is going to be coming through. You know, like I said, America has a lot coming to it, you know, in terms of I guess, retribution for being the world police for so long. I mean, let's not forget, it's not just like we only have the threat of, you know, the Islamic states to worry about. We also have Russia. again, like I said, Russia's not going to forget everything that we've been doing in Ukraine. Russia's not going to forget the fact that we've dragged this out much, farther than it needs to be. And then just really the rest of the world, as we're seeing with, I guess, kind of the more America first, anti-war movement kind of coming up here in America. A lot of people are starting to take advantage of that, and I think a lot of people are going to basically kind of use that time to build themselves up to gain territory, to reorganize and stuff. And there's a possibility that a lot of it can spill back on America. Ultimately, my actual belief and what my actual hope is that essentially the world works itself back out to basically a world of civilization states, as Turley likes to talk about quite often. Places like Ukraine and Russia. I mean, historically they've been intertwined, for just about ever, and so ultimately, whatever plays out in that field over there, it's going to eventually end up coming down to being more or less a homogenized civilization state, where basically the whole USSR is going to fucking reform that type shit. And then same thing with the Asian states, with China, Taiwan. China's going to take Taiwan. Like that's going to happen, especially if America doesn't, intervene at all, which again, we shouldn't. When it comes to the rest of the world's problems, really, we should only focus on our borders and our, conflicts with people threatening us directly, on our own land, But I think, it's probably going to end up reverting back to that, where basically, the places that have historically, been homogenized, giant, civilizations are going to revert back to that. Basically, this whole nation building that America's done over the last couple of decades while we've been an empire, I think all that's going to collapse. I think the majority of that's going to collapse, especially with America becoming anti-interventionist, and that would also involve us end up most likely backing out of NATO, and that'd be a whole lot of basically a whole lot of events going on. But ultimately, when it comes down to it, I really think that that's the way that things need to eventually play out, or basically the world needs to get back to being the way that the world is, and America just needs to focus on America.
I agree, man. And NATO basically is America. We fund it. Without us, there is no NATO. And I could give two shits about that as well. At the same token, like a Taiwan situation, to me, that would be an ally that you're willing to go to come to conflict over to protect, for the simple fact of with control of that, like China already controls the major amount of chip production, different mineral enrichment, mining, so on and so forth. And like we just found, quite a few minerals here ourselves in Nevada, and lithium and whatnot. And as of right now, it would basically, we'd have to bring China over to mine it for us, because we're not up to that capability yet on a large scale. So in every aspect, you're handing your biggest foe more power and more power. So Taiwan would be something to where not only would they ask us to be there, I'm sure, but someone that would be in our benefit all the way around, even if it's for, again, this is fucked up because you're talking about an ally, but if you're going solely on, a kind of isolationist theory and, what's good for our country, even if you propped them up long enough to get ourselves up to speed, you know what I mean? But the Ukraine, not an ally and not even really a trade partner. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with Israel. Like all we do is send them shit. It's not like, they produce something that we need, or they buy a bunch of our products. Right. You know what I mean? It's basically our only import exports cash, fucking weaponry. You know what I mean? So,
and violence.
I look at Taiwan a little differently. And I think that you could withdraw off of, being the world police and not necessarily be a complete isolationist. And we said many times, one of the founding principles, political entanglements with none, trade with all,
Yeah.
And you got to keep that going. This is, the A1 capitalist country. I support protecting fucking economics. I don't support protecting ideologies.
Right. Yeah, I support, protection and freedom. Obviously, when it comes to economics, especially in modern American economics, we have nothing even close to a free economy here. Like fucking,
Right.
especially with the fact that America is essentially an oligarchy. The politicians are literally bought and paid for, as we've seen with the Project Veritas exposés on people like
Corporatocracy, more like.
right. But essentially, the exposés exposing, like people like BlackRock, where they basically came out and said directly, like, oh, you can buy a senator for X amount of dollars, you can buy a congressman for X amount of dollars and stuff, and essentially what they do is they just buy both sides, so that way, no matter who ends up getting elected, no matter who ends up getting in power, they both owe that person a favor anyway. So pretty much whatever the massive donor class, i.e., people like the military industrial complex, whatever they want to get done is going to get done, regardless of what the people think. And that's essentially why we don't have an actual free market here. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to government contracts and government regulations and stuff like that, yeah, we don't have a free market, essentially, because we have government protection. We have basically governments that'll will regulate small companies out of the fucking market in order to protect the larger companies that have given them donations. Basically everything that is it's all run off of a just corrupt, blatantly corrupt system. So I mean, really, I think that is truly priority number one in America. I think the economy, could get back to where it belongs eventually, but I think the actual priority number one is getting all the corruption out. Getting basically, we need to tighten up the leash on our politicians. We need to tighten down the fucking restrictions on our government.
Yeah, that, and you need to increase the civic education for citizens. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, a big portion of the shit is electing morons. I mean, like you were talking about, these politicians, how they're easily bought, swayed, like, by donors. A lot of the times, I don't even think they understand what they're promoting as far as regulating small businesses out. I think all they see is that check. And, again, that goes with being complete stooges. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, you hear the vast majority, and you'd like to think, okay, it's the left, but it's just as much the right as well. You've got a few morons in there, but the left is synonymous at this point for just electing complete potatoes or carcasses, and they run with it. It's strictly on because they say some rhetoric they like, or because of their skin color, or because of what's between their legs. Man, I mean, it's a lot of that boils down to it.
Yeah. Do you think a lot of these politicians and their teams actually write a lot of the legislation stuff that actually gets passed, or do you think like they actually have outside sources and stuff, basically like make sure that you add this in here and add this in here, and then just get them to push it through?
Yeah, I think it's the big donors and and special interests and whatnot, lobby groups, insurance companies that actually write the legislation.
Yep.
Like Obamacare, for instance, the 26,000 pages that was written by insurance companies. Man, it wasn't like Obama had some guy sitting around writing 26 fucking thousand pages out.
Right, and then make sure you reiterate this for the 37th time, and then make sure you reiterate this, but this time add this in there, like.
Yeah.
It's completely ridiculous. Like, I don't know if you've ever tried like actually like reading through like some of the bullshit in there. Like, it's just fucking gobbledygook for page after page after page, and then every now and then like 57 paragraphs down, there's something, like it's
I mean, there's sections in there about turtles and shit,
right,
like literal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's pretty strange.
Yeah. So speaking of getting corruption and other stuff out of our governmental system, let's talk about the Squad, aka the latest fucking additions to the United States terror watch list.
Yeah.
So what's your thoughts on them, man? Do you think people like Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, I mean AOC, do you think those people need to be expelled for their support of, I mean, obviously, I don't care if you support another, I don't care if you support Palestine's freedom over Israel or whatever. You know, I don't care which way you stand on it. The only part that really gets me is there it's completely unacceptable to be cheering on the stuff that we saw. You know, the stuff that, you know, even if 90% of it was propaganda and all bullshit, even 10% of that, if you're cheering on 10% of that, you're a fucking despicable fucking monster that does not belong anywhere within the ranks of our government, you know? And so, I mean, just the fact that they'd be actually cheering it on and shit, you know, cheering on the actual, you know, the whole terrorist act and shit. And that's, I believe, beyond acceptable. You know, I mean, I understand the whole thing about free speech, but as the left likes to point out, you know, all the time, well, free speech doesn't count when you're calling for the deaths of people. Well, this is quite literally that. It's quite literally calling for the genocide of you know, a race of people, you know, an ethnic race of people. And so, I don't know, what's your thoughts on that whole thing? Do you think, I mean, obviously, you know, partisan politics aside, just basically, you know, off a principle, do you think that should be something that happens?
Off of principle? No, I don't think they should be expelled. Censured, maybe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, shut your mouth. You're not going to be able to speak on the floor anymore, man, for the next in Congress or what have you.
Right.
But you know, I obviously, like you said, freedom above all, and that includes, you know, uncouth and absolutely asinine opinions and takes. They, of course, they stop short of outright endorsing the terror by saying, "Well, we want a ceasefire." That's basically like, you know, if you're Israeli, just let yourself be killed.
Right.
You know what I mean? But we already knew what these people were about. These are destructive, fucking Marxist trained actors. And, you know, AOC's case, literal, you know, actor.
Yeah.
And, you know, again, it boils down to the voting pool, man. I mean, you know, like Presley, how could you look at this wide-eyed, skin-bald chick and think that she's mentally fucking stable enough to represent you in a federal government setting? You know what I mean? Rashida Tlaib, you know, dude, again, people elected her on purpose. Everybody knew that she was a terrorist sympathizer. I mean, in a truly free America, why would you elect a Muslim to your federal government? And I'm not trying to even go the religious route. I mean, dude, we know the Marines were created literally to fight Muslims. You know what I mean? Like, our founders weren't cool with them. Their beliefs are antithetical to America.
Right.
And, you know, and that goes hand in hand with these people, like the Squad, antithetical fucking beliefs. And I can't believe they've been elected, but unfortunately that's where we're at. So I think all you can do is shut them down and hope that people pull their head out of their ass enough to get them out in the next round.
It's fucking replacement theory, man. Fucking
right.
It's real shit. That's how they get elected, you know? Because the fact that they fucking load these districts up with fucking immigrants from, you know, with these sort of political views or these sort of I guess cultural beliefs and stuff, and then of course they're gonna vote somebody in to represent them that is of that mindset, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you see, you know, Michigan, prime example, like I was saying, Rashida Tlaib. I mean, I'm sure you've seen yourself the Palestinian party that was happening in Dearborn, and the mayor of Hamtramck there, which for the first time in like 150 years has a mayor that's not Polish, it's now Arabic, and he's cheering it on too, like flat out saying we support Hamas. You know what I mean?
Yep. Like an absolutely insane, man. It's
yeah. And you're saying replacement theory, that goes hand in hand with what we've talked about recently, where the Biden regime is not only, you know, leaving the border open, giving them phones with speed passes, but now they're creating their own IDs to get across the country, to get to these Democrat cities and states that are now giving out driver's licenses, which that's one of only two things you need to vote, man.
Yeah. Shit, speaking of which, man, I was cracking up the other day because I was watching YouTube and I saw an ad come up for a Joe Biden campaign ad, completely in Spanish. And of course, that'd fucking be popping up over here.
And Fox has jumped right on the bit too. I mean, you've seen, you know, in the debate, what did they have, like fucking Univision or Telemundo or some shit sitting? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As one of the moderators, and she's speaking in Spanish and asking questions about What about the fucking Latin communities? Like these people are fucking not supposed to be here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I
One
don't
one
give two fucks about the communities.
one thing I have been noticing is essentially whenever the MAGA crowd turns on somebody, like say take Fox News for example, they whether or not they were establishment or not before, it seems like they immediately turn around and just run directly into the arms of the establishment, like almost like protect me, save me, like help us.
Yeah.
They're attacking me now, and really it's like especially with the things like Fox News, it was essentially the whole Tucker thing that turned us all away from Fox News. But essentially that's seems to be the way it goes, whether or not it's kind of like you reveal them and then all of a sudden they just like, I'll show you who I really am now, or whether or not it's just like basically, they set them up and then now, we see them as basically, oh, well, they bowed to the establishment and they're fucking gone, yeah. It's fucking pretty funny shit. Be right back.
Yeah, one of the other things that's completely mind blowing is every time something happens to a senator, it seems like one on the other side, or a congressman, one on the other side gets some kind of indictment or some new charge, or it's insane, man.
Yeah, and there or charges dropped.
But I mean, like, it's like Feinstein dies, dude. So then, they got to bring up charges on Santos, and you know what I mean. Now Menendez is about to go down, so it's nonstop, bro. Shenanigans. And you want to use that to go into the next portion, dude? The fucking old speakers race.
Yeah, fucking definitely. So the latest I've heard, Scalise is out. Scalise has dropped out. And what do you think? Do you think it's going to end up being Jim Jordan?
I don't know, man. Apparently, there's already 8 Republicans, or possibly more at this point. The last time I was reading, there was at least 8 that were basically like, "There's no way we're going to vote for Jim Jordan," and those were part of the Scalise camp. You know what I mean? Scalise is a true fucking, he's like establishment Republican.
Yeah.
Jim Jordan's kind of been known as an ass kicker and a mouth slapper most of his career. Unfortunately, a lot of that's been spent spinning one-liners on the Twitter zones rather than actually fucking exploding on the floor. But, I would love to see Jim Jordan take it. It's a slim chance, man, because not a single Democrat's going to vote for him. I think Republicans have their head in their ass as usual, making the party look ridiculous when they have a chance to not only at least put the brakes on Bidens and possibly make some change, but to roll it into a victory in the next cycle. They're going to make themselves look incompetent, man.
As they're known for doing.
Yeah.
At this point, they're not making themselves look incompetent. They are incompetent. They're not making themselves look fucking anything. That's what they are. They don't look like nothing. That's them.
I mean, in a way, I agree with you, but then again, obviously this was started by Matt Gaetz, and whether it works out in our favor or not, as far as if we end up with a more conservative speaker than old Kevin, it's still kind of like the younger dogs trying to wrestle the party away from the old establishment.
Right.
You know what I mean? So to me, it's not necessarily incompetence as much as it is just inner party fucking struggle, and the struggle to wrench the torch from the carcasses that refuse to fucking let it go due to their rigor mortis, bro.
Yeah. Fucking it's the uniparty, man. It's essentially the warmongers, it's the American it's the American empire, It's those that support the American empire, and
they're willing to give up power, like as far as control of the House, and make themselves look incompetent rather than realize that fucking we don't want to go back to establishment warmonger fucking shills.
Right. I think that's what a lot of this fucking with the Israeli thing is really kind of for, is essentially made to light a fire up underneath the Congress, and basically like, we need to get back to war spending, fucking obviously Biden was well aware of the fact that this shit was going to happen. You know, like you don't freeze up $6 million and just like, oh yeah, or $6 billion, right? And then just like, oh yeah, I'm sure they're just going to use it for food. You know, I'm sure that's what they're well known for doing that. You know, everyone knows that
in the line now they keep saying not a dime's been spent.
right. Right. This is not a dime of their fucking previous money is now being spent on anything other than fucking total jihad.
Right. I mean, the smoothest example, dude. You're almost broke, dude. You're about to get paid tomorrow. I got $20. I want a sandwich, bro. I got money coming tomorrow. I'm going to get that fucking sandwich.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that's what time it is.
Yep. They can. So speaking of their the jihad, fucking today was the global day of rage for I guess the Islamic leader calling for global jihad all over the world today. Obviously, as far as I'm
bro.
right, as far as I'm aware, nothing went down here. But still, just the whole global day of jihad thing with these people, they're not virtue signalers. You know what I mean? they're not just out there like, oh, I mean, yes, granted, they do say death to America a lot, but at the same time, a lot of it really it does seem like I said, right now America's starting to take an anti-interventionist stance, and a lot of the world's kind of taking advantage of that. And of course, the fucking psychotic, bloodthirsty fucking Islamic people are going to be the first people to take advantage. But the whole day of rage, the fact that they named out a date was obvious that nothing was going to happen. But that doesn't mean that it's not going to. Perhaps it was kind of like a pump fake. Basically a cry wolf type thing. They basically fucking they got everybody out there all in uniform. Everybody's watching the fucking the mosques and the synagogues and everything, and everyone's just fucking on edge and on their toes and all this shit. They'll probably do it again. They'll probably call for another one, and then same thing. Everyone's gonna oh, and then next thing you know, fucking a silent message will go out to all the fucking sleeper cells, and then shit's gonna fucking go down. But ultimately, the whole thing, the point that I'm trying to get to is basically just because nothing happened doesn't mean that nothing's going to happen. Definitely, so the last thing that you should ever feel is safe. You should strive for safety. You should strive to build yourself a nice safety net all the way around you, a safety net under you, fucking nice big walls all the way around you, basically. But ultimately, the whole reason that you would do something like that is because of the fact that you understand that you're never truly safe. And especially in times like these, I just really stress to people that you take that into account. I mean, just because we do happen to live in America and nothing happened to happen doesn't mean that nothing's going to happen. As I said, this is going to eventually come to our doorstep. And so basically the whole thing is just be ready for anything. Just keep your head on a swivel. Fucking don't ever think that everything is all right. As soon as you think everything's all right, that's when shit's gonna get bad.
As far as that's concerned, dude, it's already been in our doorstep. We've done that shit to ourselves. Like we were just talking on, we have entire cities with city councils, mayors, everything that are, Islamic or whatnot. And it's not just Islamics that will pull off a terrorist attack, right? I mean, there's, quite a few other groups that hate us as well. But my point is as well as I do, even down here in Tucson, bro, the east side, there's a huge ass, right there. I mean, it's, we've done that shit to ourselves. We've let our tenets and constitution of freedoms be used against us, like freedom of religion. Now you're surrounded by mosques and shit. I mean, it's I mean, bro, like that's what I was saying in the previous episode that we did together when it was kind of like you took it as them, the name of the show is fucking the Liberty Bowl, but unchecked liberty is that's the kind of shit it fucking leads to.
Yeah.
And you definitely don't want to be off the freedom train or no shit like that. But at the same time, you got to restrict freedom as far as if it benefits your people.
Do you think people would fight harder for freedom or for their religious beliefs?
It depends. It depends. It's that's a definite cultural question. You know, you have certain people, you know, groups of people around the planet that will definitely fight more for religious aspects because they live in tyranny, but yet will kill you if you disrespect, you know, their beliefs or whatever. And then, you know, then you have other types of people that really don't give two shits about religion, but will murder you to be able to stay free. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
So, what's your thoughts Trump said you know, obviously if he gets back into office, he's gonna have mass deportations and he's gonna institute a travel ban on all of these radical Islamic nations.
well, this will be, of course, taken for extremesies, man. But I agree. I don't think the travel ban should have been lifted. You
Right.
got people, like you said, you got countries' parliaments screaming death to America, and then you're like, come on
Right.
over.
Come
I
on
mean,
over, buddy.
you know what I mean? Yeah, that's asinine. You know what I mean? Even if you take the majority of it as rhetoric, it only takes one or two to set it off.
Yeah.
And you know, I think that mass deportations, regardless of how cruel that seems, again, you have to do what your system entails to protect your people. They broke the law. You can't just stroll in. If you did the same thing in Mexico, you'd be fucking deported or put in prison. You know what I mean? So, and I damn sure don't want to pay for people to be in prison already. So, yeah, that's the only next step is to just go on home, man.
Right. Yep.
And give people give send it out though. Give people fair notice. Dude, we're going to start these deportations in 30 days, dude. You got that time to travel freely home.
Yep.
If you're traveling south, we will not, you know, we won't stop you.
We'll issue that warning. I'd say November of 2024, right? And then tell them it's going to go into effect January of 2025. I think that's a pretty good time frame.
Yeah.
Yep. Right after the fucking election, and then right when on fucking inauguration day. That's your fucking warning period. Get fucking gone. Otherwise, you're getting fucking shipped the fuck out. I think that's a good enough fucking warning period for them. But
yeah, because it's gotten to the point now where it's not just like, you know, that's our Mexican brothers, man. You know what I mean? They touch us. We're basically one continent. You get that argument? It's long past that now. We got Africans, Chinese, Middle Easterners. I mean, the list just keeps going, dude.
yeah, shit. Fuck it. Keep the travel ban indefinite, man. Any nation that says death to America, fuck them. You guys off the fucking list. You guys aren't invited. You know.
And that's kind of where I was going, where I thought it would be taken as, you know, extremesies, man. I mean, you know, up until the 70s, the way that our immigration system worked was about 70% of all immigration allowed into the country stemmed from Europe.
Yeah.
And dude, I mean, and people can call it racist, whatever. Cultures are different, and the goddamn country was better at that point, dude.
Yeah.
Economically, you know, socially. I mean, in every aspect. I mean, the only thing you could say is, you know, gays had to hide in the closet. I don't give a fuck about deviance.
Right.
You know what I mean? Sorry, Bobby. And people will go, that's not liberty. No, you have the liberty to be a deviant. That just doesn't mean we have to accommodate. Fuck right off.
Right. And that's I mean, like you were saying, kind of earlier about the downside of liberty and stuff like that. I think that's ultimately the type of stuff that needs to happen. I think ultimately liberty is going to eventually force people together, you know, like basically you allow these sort of people to come here, and basically they're going to do what the fuck they do. And essentially at that point, like they say, all great things must wear a terrifying and monstrous masks in order to inscribe themselves on the hearts of humanity and stuff. So essentially, if something like the Day of Rage were to kick off in, cities all over America and stuff like that, I think that would be a pretty good wake up call to Americans that, like, no, like, see everything that you guys have been fucking spouting this entire time about, fucking like, oh, fucking no human is illegal, all that type of bullshit. I think that is going to be the final, awakening to basically like, okay, yeah, maybe we should do something about this. Maybe we should have like freedom for us and the rest of the world can fuck off, like.
Yeah, I agree with that last sentiment for sure, man. But I don't think that importing your enemies and letting an attack happen is a
Well,
way to
not
change your
necessarily.
people's minds. You know what I mean?
I mean, ultimately, it's the type of stuff that does, eventually lead to actual willing change. It needs to be on a voluntary status. Like the same reason why it'd be really tough to get people to go fight boots on the ground in Russia for Ukraine, as opposed to getting people to fight, boots on the ground here in America against a foreign invader. And it's really because of the fact that when it's voluntary and you're fighting for freedom, people are going to come together voluntarily, out of the woodwork. You're going to have fucking people coming just with their fucking grandpa's gun, like, I'm ready, and that's basically what America is. We're free to protect ourselves. And so basically, when it comes to our land, when it comes to what America's been doing over, our entire lifetimes, most of our parents' lifetimes, that type of stuff, America is not what America was meant to be. For that time period after World War II up until now, America has not been a free nation. And we have not believed in the principles of freedom. We have not practiced the principles of freedom. Every single fucking piece of our Constitution has been fucking undermined. There's not a single goddamn thing in the Constitution that we haven't figured out a fucking way to walk around. So, since we become an empire, even before then, even since World War One, with the fucking income tax, all that type of shit, the Federal Reserve, basically everything our forefathers warned us against, we have tried, and fucking it's come to this point of basically America became an empire, and basically America became a tyranny. And ultimately, it's the type of thing that is going to, bring people that are willing to fight for freedom, people that are willing to fight for what America stands for together, whether that becomes a movement, or whether that becomes a revolution, or whether that becomes, a civil uprising, or whatever it becomes, that's essentially, I think, what the principles of freedom are meant to do. Basically, you can't, you can warn people against everything. You could tell people until you're blue in the face, like, dude, like, we have to fucking close this off. We have to fucking make this stop. Otherwise, XYZ is going to happen, But ultimately, until XYZ happens, people are just going to, oh, he's just bigoted. He's just, he's just crazy and stuff. And he's this, he's that, And, it's essentially, a lot of it is orchestrated to get people to believe in the government, believe in the saving and, the safety of government and the power of government and all that type of stuff. And, ultimately, I'm kind of rambling now, but my point is, I think freedom has a path that it's going to go down to where eventually it finds the correct way, but it does have to bounce against the fucking the bumpers a couple times before it actually gets down to fucking, to the pins at the end of the lane.
I don't know, man. I think that kind of spells the destruction. I mean, you overwhelm yourself with fucking, with people that don't believe in freedom. It's not going to leave you with enough to fight back. And I mean, you see how, now illegals they're encouraging them to join military. They're going to be police officers. I mean, they're building, basically what would be not only your replacement, but who will deal with you when it comes to that point. And I think it's going to be like the revolutionary instance. Like, it's going to be, are you a 3%er? It's always going to be that way. I think the vast majority follow like lemmings, and it's you can't turn the tide as far as that's concerned, regardless of what happens. Even the so-called, like, when you, like 9/11, how people are like, there was unification around the country. There really wasn't. You know what I mean? Like, just
Right.
because you agreed on a single topic, and like, we should get them. That was it. It was still the same situation. And the only thing that was agreed upon, like, politically, was that the war machine. That
Yeah.
was it.
But at the
And that's
same,
when you hear these. So go ahead.
but I was just going to say, at the same time, 9/11, fucking those types of things are minor. Those are fucking a fly smacking into your head compared to what is, potentially coming. compared to fucking actual, violent fucking insurgency groups fucking in the middle of
I
cities
wasn't.
just
Yeah.
dropping people
Yeah.
and shit, like that's, 9/11, Pearl Harbor, all the, January 6th, all of this is going to be fucking minor fucking things compared to, what could happen when America stops being the world police and stops being a global empire and just starts focusing on America. Those are the types of things that, we're going to have to brace ourselves for, especially, because people are going to, like you said, going to like, oh, Donald Trump, he's still just, Hitler's junior and stuff, even after, even if he does, come put a stop to all this type of shit, they're still going to fucking, he's a Nazi and shit. So essentially America is, headed toward a huge fall, whether it's a fall
Yeah.
whether it's a fall into tyranny or a fall into the hard times that bring about the strong men, obviously, remains to be seen. And it's basically the precipice that we're standing on right now. We're basically at a pinnacle, and on one side is, pure government tyranny because of fear of, the outside, essentially fear of the rest of the world, or it's going to basically fall back into, hard times that is going to bring about, tough men to bring about, freedom again, to bring about, a great America, to make America great again. That's essentially the precipice that we're standing on right now. And it's basically going to be decided on how the next year or so, gets played out. Whether we end up going into World War III, I think either one is going to, either way, America is headed for a great fall. It's just into what is the answer, is the question,
Either or is going to entail a lot of pain, man.
Oh yeah.
Either or, whether it's like physical or economical, it's
Yeah.
it's going to be the same, man. And either way, it's going to be hard times. We're going to have to create some hard men, or you're going to fucking die.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And unfortunately, do we live in a time where we have, a lot of blue hair fucking weak wrists? And again, it's going to be about, are you a 3%er, man? The other 97% are going to cower in fear and be murdered out. Really, that's rough. That's rough.
Yeah. Yeah. We really are living in the almost biblical end times, But I think that's almost kind of a point to, I guess, Christianity and essentially, Western religious beliefs to basically always just, it went from a culmination of different religions, taking out the best parts of them, and it basically came to a culmination on what is natural freedom. That's essentially what I believe, the Christian, philosophy to be, the Christian spiritual philosophy. It's basically what is natural spiritual freedom. And I think essentially that's why they wrote Revelations. That's why they basically wrote this sort of prophecy, that whether or not it was written in the stars that this is going to happen, or whether or not they actually wrote it down knowing that the power of belief is going to force people to eventually fulfill the prophecy. Either way, they included it, And so I think that's basically that they know where freedom is going to lead to, and basically it's going to lead to people willing to give up their freedom all the way up into the point where it's literally going to kill them. And I think that's essentially what, Revelations talks about. It's what, like what Revelations quite literally means, it's basically revealing truth, And so, obviously, like we say, hard times are coming one way or the other, but I honestly think that's, if you look at it through a biblical aspect, or if you look at it the biblical aspect just through a philosophical aspect, is basically the Bible is just a description of how nations rise and fall, or how civilizations rise and fall. I think that was the earliest sparkings of liberty,
Possibly, man. Possibly. But without being, biblical, just sticking on, the United States, like, I don't think that the government could definitely like save anything. Definitely not like that. But we both know that the most simple function of rudimentary government is to protect its borders, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that right there is a massive step to fucking turning off the spigot. I don't know. I don't know if it's possible to even be saved at this point. To be honest with you, bro, you don't want to be black-pilled, right? You want to be, the United States, bro. But man, I don't know. They sure seem to be trying their hardest. You got the Bidens coming out. We can sustain 2 wars. And no one's saying, I mean, you got the normals, right, saying stuff on the inner zones and whatnot. But other than that, everybody's cheering for it as usual, bro.
Yeah.
One way or the other. If you're good with the 75 million handed off to Hamas or the 6 billion unfrozen for fucking Iran, you know what I mean, or replenishing the fucking Iron Dome, either way, it's for fucking up America.
Yep. They can. I mean, that's why I say we stand at a precipice right now. We stand at a a point of no return, and so that's why I think the forefathers or the founding fathers essentially wrote the First and Second Amendment in order to basically give the people actual power over the government when it becomes tyrannical. They didn't give instructions on how that's going to look. They didn't give anything else on there, but obviously we know.
They gave you instructions. I think it's called history, bro.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Right.
the meme is, dude, you guys are fucking pussies. We had stacked bodies a long time ago.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But
that was the instructions. Murder them bitches.
All right, but that's the thing, that is not going to be a pretty thing either. That's what I say. Even if that's what the hard times is in America, that's still going to be the worst thing that America is. Well, at least the worst thing that we've gone through since the Civil War.
Yep.
Like either.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Either way, it doesn't matter which way. Like you were saying, the precipice. Either way we go over, it's going to be hard times.
Yep. But that's basically on one side, in order to get back to freedom again, we have to invoke the First and Second Amendments, which is stuff that would get you fucking a knock on your door from the FBI, So on the other side is basically falling into fear and basically giving up all liberty for a false sense of security, and basically what the establishment is calling for, what people like fucking Ben Shapiro and basically all these people that are calling for America to the Mike Pences, all these people that are calling for America to be the boot of the world, that's what we do. That's what our job is, all those type people. Right. Those are the type of people that are giving into fear. Those are the type of people that are basically willing to give up all of their essential liberty for a false sense of security. And I truly mean a false sense of security, because there's, I don't think without being a fully tyrannical government, there's no possible way that America could continue to be the world boot, Yeah,
and both sides of the establishment, dude, they want you on your 2 grams of chocolate a week ration, dude,
right.
And your victory gin.
Double
plus,
what
I'm
good.
saying? I mean, yep, exactly, dude. It's either they want to break you for the war machine, or they want to break you by overwhelming, the Cloward Piven approach, dude, letting the fucking border open and giving everybody benefits and free shit. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah. Shit. Like I said in my my hot take video, if I can like okay, basically we're watching our neighbor's house burn down right now, and they're over there screaming and asking for help and everything, and half of America is sitting there like, oh, we need to go help them put out the fire and stuff. Meanwhile, they're ignoring the fact that our house is on fire too, motherfucker. Like, you know what I mean?
It already spread, bro.
Right. Like, why are you trying to help the fucking neighbor? Help get our shit out, Our fucking house is burning down too, like,
Your kids are in there, dude.
Right. It's really, like I say, it's people are afraid. People are afraid of either result, and so basically people are, a good amount of people are willing to give up all essential liberty for a false sense of security. And that's why it begs, it brings up the question of at what point does the American spirit, kick back in, and then, what is that going to look like?
Yeah, and you want to think like it's going to happen. You see sparks constantly, and then they seem to fizzle out and pretty quickly, man. The
Yeah.
fucking attention span of a piece of toast in this country, bro. Like I know, like I said, man, with the whole Ron Paul revolution thing, I wasn't involved in the first round in '08. I was involved in 2012, and dude, I thought then. Like it seems like the country's shifting, they're changing. This guy's setting attendance records, and you know what I mean? Like, and then nothing for years, just Obama's, bro.
It's
And
because it's
then
because
they
he
brought
opened
in
the
Trump.
it's because Obama's opened the floodgates for propaganda, man. He saw that fucking that spark of liberty fucking starting to ignite back up here in America. And so basically
Right.
he opened the floodgates of propaganda that brought us to where we're at today. At least so rapidly where we're at today.
Yeah, and even myself, like I mean, obviously wearing a MAGA hat, saying this, bro. Even Trump, right? I mean, you see, 2016, one of the lines that stuck out the most to me that kept me against him was, it will take the guns first and due process later.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Supporting stopping for shit like that. Like, and so we're at that point of a country that's your choice, man. Is you vote for a dude that supports stop and frisk, or complete communism. Like
Sure.
we've let ourselves devolve to the point to where the choices are kind of fucked, man.
All
I'm
right.
looking to Trump for economics and immigration policy only, basically.
I'm looking to
uh
Trump
Fuck.
for for foreign policy, really.
Hmm.
Obviously, like I say, fucking the economics and that type of stuff, it's gonna be something that needs to be a grassroots type thing. We got to do that shit. We have to fucking fix our economy, and obviously we have to get more fucking MAGA people in Congress to basically hold up those purse strings and basically make the decisions that are best for the country when it comes to government spending and government use of taxpayer dollars and shit. But ultimately,
Don't you know, bro? Being MAGA in Congress means you're a traitor and extremesy, bro, because you don't want the establishment in control.
right? But I mean, based off of poll numbers and stuff like that, that's why I say at what point does a revolution take place? Because one thing that we do know for sure is that the government is always going to fight to protect itself, even if that comes down to literally.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah, I mean that's why you hear the Bidens and them, the gang, dude, Swalwell and whatnot, like nukes and F-15s, bub. You know,
yep,
they
yeah.
definitely fight to protect itself.
But that ultimately, dude, that's the thing too. Is it comes down to how many people are willing to fight to you know
Commit true guerrilla warfare, dude.
right. Well, I mean, then just on the establishment side, how many people do they have that are actually just I guess never mind. At this point, it's just fucking the press of a button. Even a fucking actual politician could just sit back in their office and fucking fly a drone these days. Like,
Yeah, that I guess that takes the trauma out of murdering.
yep.
It's like
So
playing a video. It's like Ender's Game out here, bro.
right. So they helped crush the fucking uprisings, stop the revolutions. Yeah. Oh, high score.
Right. Right, exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, fucking yeah, dude, definitely some hardcore times that we're gonna be coming up on. Yeah.
So I said economically, or
Oh yeah.
whether that or physically, whatever. I mean, whether you know what I'm saying, conflict, what have you. Yeah, it's going to be
Yeah.
rough times either way we go about it.
But that's back when I was saying with Trump and stuff, when it comes to foreign policy and stuff like that, I want somebody that's going to be as per principle, I guess anti-interventionist, kind of like who we saw with Trump with fucking General Milley. Basically he wanted to go invade Iraq, and Trump basically like, fuck off.
Iran, yeah.
Yeah, Iran. Right. And Trump basically, told him to fuck off. And then at the same time, Trump's the type of person, he's our wild card, He's our American wild card and shit, where basically he will go fucking tell, Putin, I'll go fucking melt those golden domes, motherfucker, and Putin's gonna I go sit down though. Like we need somebody like that. We need somebody like I say all the time, dude. I think Trump embodies the spirit of America. For all its good and all of its bad. Both sides of it. I think Trump fucking embodies the spirit of America, and I think the rest of the world is afraid of that.
Yeah, and the vast majority of people that are against them are establishment or people that focus on cult of personality rather than policy or what was proposed to be achieved, dude. What could have been, right, if you didn't have the fight back from both sides of the establishment and fools that hate Americas, man. That's the people that are against them, dude.
Yep.
At this point, if you're still against them after living through these years of Biden and seeing everything that they accused Trump of not only being capable of, but actually starting as in world wars and whatnot. I mean, Biden's accomplished all of it.
Yeah.
All the way down to making himself look like a complete fucking idiot on the world stage.
And us.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, laughing stock shit, I'm sure.
But yeah, I forget the segue I was going to, but the point that I'm eventually going to get to is when it comes to all these protests and stuff on the left, all these pro-Palestine protests and stuff like that. That's another a free speech principle that is again prevailing. That's setting things right. Basically. All these people on the left over here that are chanting pro-Palestine and all that shit, they are alienating over the majority of their side, and so essentially fucking free speech prevails. Fucking let them say all that they want, let them say fucking death to Jews, death to America, all they fucking want, all the let BLM come out and fucking post all the fucking memes they want, because all they're doing is fucking alienating the people that stood beside them the entire time. They're basically showing their true face, and truth is the most important thing. You let them fucking show who they truly are, and they're losing support. They're hemorrhaging support faster than a fucking dude that's been shot in every goddamn artery in his body. Like they're basically showing who they are, and that's the importance of freedom. And letting people be free, letting people express who they truly are. Because just because you express who you truly are doesn't mean that we have to accept you. I don't give a
right.
Just because America's about freedom and stuff like that. If you're screaming death to America, we're gonna get rid of your ass. Like, doesn't mean that we're gonna just let them do what they do and stuff like that. Like, ultimately there's a lot of people that are calling for that. Just let them be themselves. It's a protest. It's not terrorism. It's a protest. That type of shit. Those are the types of people that are basically showing their true face, and it couldn't be better for us. It's basically bringing a solidarity back to America, at least to a point. At least to a point where the bubble breaks, and then we're not going to have a choice but to stand in solidarity as like I said, things get bad.
It's definitely shifting perception. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the first poll ever came out like a week and a half ago showing Trump ahead of Biden's, right? And this isn't like a Trump's a superhero. I'm not. It's obviously a paradigm shift, right? First time ever, he never led in a poll, even in 2020, right? And now several more have came out. One of which has a bunch of Democrats polled saying that they're either considering or are going to vote for Trump, and that's like some of the most recent polls coming out. So it's definitely the shit that's going on, whether it's economics or whether it's off the wall rappers endorsing Trump at this point. It's shifting some type of social aspect or the conflicts, what have you. But something's changing, and you hope it's accurate, even slightly.
Yeah, I think a lot of this pro-Palestine protesting on the left has left a lot of the left jaded. You know what I mean? And I think they're just kind of fucking like disillusioned right now as they're, waking up for the first time and realizing what the fuck they've been supporting. Especially, keep in mind the most comical part to all of this is these are the exact same fucking people that have been calling us Nazis and fucking anti-Semites and fascists for almost a fucking decade now. The literal same fucking people that are over here fucking chanting death to Jews are the exact same people that have been calling us fucking Nazis and fascists and fucking whatever other name that you want to fucking add to that, the exact same fucking people. That's the most comical part of all of this shit, dude. Is that again they're showing who they truly are.
Is fucking Ben Shapiro.
Right.
I mean, it's fucked up. I understand, dude has friends and family. They're like, dude, I understand all the seriousness, right?
Mm-hmm.
But seriousness aside, this guy's descent into fucking borderline madness at this point is just laughable, bro. And you hear Salty like Salty's like he's a Mossad plant. Hilarious, man.
Dude, just I understand, I feel for the dude, these are his people, as he likes to say, but yeah, dude, the dude's just been literally the one thing that I have noticed, man, who he hasn't criticized or blamed for all of this? Joe Bidens. You know why? It's because he wants that motherfucker to go send the troops into fucking Israel. He's been oddly fucking quiet about fucking blaming the Biden administration for sending all this fucking money and shit. He's talked about it, of course. He hasn't completely omitted it, but he'll just say that part and then he'll fucking go continue on to why we need support and this and that. But yeah, I'm pretty sure fucking he wants the Biden administration because he knows that it's the MAGA administration. The fucking MAGA wing and shit like that is not gonna happen. And so obviously, like you said, the dude's descending into madness right now, and it really is, like comical, but at the same time, dude, like just in a purely empathetic sense, it really is kind of sad to see, like the dude's literally fucking just spewing out every single fucking propaganda point he could think of, every fucking single thing that he could think of, and that's one reason because obviously, like you said, he was over there over the weekend. When the attacks happened and shit, I was like, nothing's gonna fucking happen to Shapiro. Like that's one thing I could guarantee for sure. Fucking Ben Shapiro is probably one of the biggest fucking lobbyists that fucking the Israelis have over in America. Yeah, like he's invaluable to them. Like they cannot afford to lose Ben Shapiro.
One of their biggest cheerleaders.
Right. Yeah. Maybe not lobbyists, but essentially, just fucking, I guess, propagandists. I guess kind of lobbyists in a sense, lobbying the people. With the he's lobbying. He's definitely he gets the people fired up for being pro-Israel and stuff. Which does bring me to my next point that I want to discuss. What's your thoughts on dual citizenship? I mean, obviously, I could assume your thoughts on dual citizenship. What do you think we should do going forward about people that have dual citizenship and dual loyalty to other nations? Because obviously, like I said in my video, if you're not loyal to America, if you're not pro-America, period, you need to fucking go. Like you need to get the fuck out of this country. If you're fucking in politics, you need to be fucking expelled. Call it fucking Islamophobic or what the fuck ever. Yeah, I don't give a fuck. I'll claim Islamophobe. Unlike fucking transphobe and stuff like that, all that type of bullshit. I have zero fucking fear of fucking trannies. I find them disgusting, but I'm in no way afraid of them. That's it. When it comes to fucking radical Islam and shit, yeah, sure, fuck it. Yeah, I have a fear of fucking terrorists coming and blowing up my fellow countrymen or fucking coming and fucking terrorizing my nation. Yeah, I'll fucking take the title of Islamophobe. Shit, fuck it. Yeah, expel those motherfuckers, And that's why I'm fuck it. I'm pro fucking travel ban. Shit, keep it indefinitely.
Yeah, even Israel, like you call me anti-Semite, man. I don't want to fund fucking to replenish their weapon systems or anything like that. We've sent, fucking something, 200 million or $200 billion or something to them as well over time, man. How much more can you do? You
Right.
know what I mean? But my take on it, of course, I mean, you got mixed because you got like Ted Cruz, right? I mean, born in fucking Canada, but at the same time, apparently he did like renounce his Canadian citizenship or what have you.
That's another thing.
So
I'm cool with that. If you want to come over here and
to
fucking and you renounce your previous citizenship, then fine. Yeah, I'm cool with you fucking getting American citizenship.
to an extent, though, you can't. I don't think he should have been able to run for president. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, definitely
just
not
like
that.
just like old Jank,
Yeah.
Jank just realized fucking from the Turks, bro.
Oh man.
You know what I mean? You should have to be a definite natural born citizen.
Yeah.
I think the same thing to be in the Senate. You know what I mean? Call it racisms or whatever. Congress is different. That's your direct representatives. It should be dictated by the district they represent, of course, right?
Yep.
But yeah, I think the Senate and the president seat, vice president as well. You should have to be a natural born fucking citizen, dude. Yep, that's racism. I call it cultural. I call it if you don't have similar views, morals, beliefs, it's not going to be a cohesive government that's going to look out for its actual people, man. I give a fuck.
Right.
And
that's
yep.
And that's what kind of it brings us back to, as like we were talking about earlier with the world basically reverting back to what it used to be, and basically falling back into civilization states. America is a civilization at this point. We're the civilization where our principle is freedom. And that's why I say essentially, if we fully get back to America first, if we fully get back to anti-interventionism, if we allow the American empire abroad to collapse and basically, let the pieces fall where they may. Obviously, like I said, we're going to face hard times, but ultimately, it's going to homogenize America. I mean, obviously not homogenize in a genetic sense, but it's going to, I guess, spiritually, homogenize America, into basically the civilization of the Americas. Whether make it the entire fucking hemisphere. Well, we don't need to fuck with the EU. We don't need to fuck with any of those motherfucking people over there. Fuck it, we'll just fuck with the Western Hemisphere fucking people. Shit.
Canada and fucking Mexicana, dude.
Yeah.
That's our only fucking real trade partners. The other ones are just trade partners on exports, bro.
Yep.
You can buy our shit, but we don't want your shit.
Right.
That's the key right there, is for us to consume our own products, man. You remember the grandpa's old RCA, bro? You kicked the fuck out of it, dude. It stayed around your entire childhood. And now you get these old fancy smart fucking TVs, and they're done in a year and a half, 2 years, bro. Like,
right.
I mean, the price of cheap, dog.
Yep.
And the more you consume of American companies, the cheaper American product, can end up being, as far as that's concerned.
All right.
So,
I mean, shit. That's
the key.
Right. Yep. It's. But yeah, it's like we say, fucking hard times are coming
to an extent, because fuck Fords, bro.
Right. Right. So, what's your thoughts on refugee status for Israelis?
That's a tough subject, right?
Right.
Actual refugee status is one thing, dude. If you're gonna help,
especially if the entire nation ends up collapsing too. If the worst should happen.
But I don't think we should take on the entire brunt. I think that if we're gonna help an ally, it's one thing, but to be expected to just take on millions of people at a time, absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
But if it came down to that and you wanted to do it, well, guess what has to take place then? It's got to be a switcheroo, bro. Mass deportation is Samara.
Yeah. Fucking
and I'm gonna be, and again, you can call this racisms, but I would rather bring in a couple million from a population that has the most Nobel Prizes in sciences than any other fucking civilization on the planet. Rather than Juan wanting to open up a fucking taco stand, or Africans needing Section 8
motherfuckers housing. Just to reattach the child's head.
Yeah,
it just reattached a boy's head, motherfucker. Like, bring some of those guys over.
Yeah, exactly, man.
I mean, if you talk about
even the Iron Dome, we don't have an Iron Dome, dude. I want some of those fucking weapons engineers over here right now.
Do you think we really don't? Do you think we really don't have? I mean, I'm sure we have a whole lot of shit that is top secret. Like I'm sure we got a whole lot of fucking missile defense. Fucking probably have fucking nuclear defenses. That the rest of the world can't even conceptualize yet. At least that's what you like to hope. Yeah.
Yeah.
You also got to keep in mind that the people running this place are competent as fuck.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go with it. Apparently, the vast majority of our nuclear weapons stocks are outdated and, like decaying and shit, man. You know what I mean? So I'd like to hope that. I know that we originally had the Star Wars program, what was supposed to be satellites, to intercept missiles and whatnot. But now China has built a satellite system that's way beyond that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm sure that there is defense systems that we don't know about that strictly only, certain security levels of military do. But I think that we've been smug and we've been kind of an isolated country as far as the rest of the world's concerned, other than, like I said, Mexico and Canada. And I think that conceit, dude, they're getting in the way. Like, we don't need that. It's fucking America, son. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's really kind of I guess like you said, we've grown accustomed to just like, oh, we're America, she ain't gonna come here, like, and that's what does kind of what makes you worry, because the whole reason that we think that way is because if anybody ever thinks of attacking America, well, we're gonna go fucking preemptively strike you, as fucking old Lindsey Graham would say. Like, we don't need evidence. You said that you might want to fucking hurt America. We're gonna go fucking level your fucking country. Like, that's what America has been, And so
I gotta pause for a second. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and hit a dab with everybody. How's it going? We got about 5 people, or 3 people, 2 people in the chat. Thanks for dropping by. We appreciate you guys.
Sorry about that.
No worries, man.
Yeah, man. I think hard times, regardless, though. To get back to it, and it's if we can write the shit. We've touched on this before, but it would take some shit that would seriously be seen as fascism for a minute. You know what I mean? And it would be a forced paradigm shift as far as we're shutting off the fucking spigots. We're gonna focus on building the wall, dude, mass deportations and fucking bringing troops home, shutting fucking bases down. There's so many different ways we could be fucking turning things around.
Don't forget, fucking
you'd be looked
drill,
at like
baby,
a fucking
drill.
dictator. Yeah, of course. Hell yeah.
Yep.
You know
That's got to be day
Produce our
one
own
shit.
energy. Yeah, start building the plants to process our own fucking lithium catches instead of paying China to come over and take it to China, process it, and send it back. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah.
everything. We could be decreasing the cost of our own products for ourselves. I mean, the list just keeps going, man, but people don't want to do that. And of course, we need our own workforce. In other words, the little softies out here getting fucking liberal arts degrees and shit like that, you got to be willing to come out and get your hands dirty if you want to live, son. Accountability, fucking, being an English teacher is only going to get you so far, man, if you can even get a job, because there's 70 other people standing behind you with a liberal arts degree.
Right.
You know what I mean? They work at Taco Bell.
So what do you give to the notion that, if America is not the world's, economic fucking, what the world pegs its economy behind, if America is not the world's, boot and shit like that, somebody else will be. And in which case,
Right.
We're going to have to deal with that one day.
Yeah, and it could be a conglomerate. I mean, it could be a China fucking Russia thing, man. You know what I mean? It could be Red Dawn, but it's Russia and China. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, in reality, because those are the two that would love to depose us the most, I'm sure. And if it takes working together, regardless of the outcome afterwards, as far as if they're going to be copacetic, I think that they would jump on the chance.
Yeah.
And that's what we're talking about isolationism. I don't want to go that far. I mean, surely we need our blue water navy, but I just want to shut down some of the bases around the planet, dude. I mean, we have 100 bases
Right.
in like 100 countries. So that's fucking ridiculous. Yeah, but I think that the only way to really depose us, of course, is to take us off of fucking trade currency. And once that happens, again, we're back at the hard time scenario. And obviously, that would be a good time if someone was going to attack because we know Bidens is depleted. You know, our arms, our ammos, fucking, you know what I mean? Like the strategic oil reserves. You know, everything's kind of fucked right now. So it would be perfect.
Yep. You think there's going to be any sort of attack on the home front anytime soon? I also want to make one other quick point. All these fucking Rashida Tlaibs, fucking the AOCs, the fucking Elon Omars and shit. Keep in mind, these are the same people that have voted time and time again to disarm the population. Like that's one of their top agendas is to disarm the American population. So I mean, keep that in mind too.
Yeah. And keep, historical shit in mind. I mean, communists, right? Every time the steps, they disarm the fucking population and then millions die.
Yep.
Every time, all the time.
Yeah. So you almost kind of I guess kind of I don't know, man. Fucking so like we said, we've pretty much kind of narrowed it down to basically, are we going to have economic hard times that are going to lead to waking up the majority of America into basically making America great again, or is it going to be an external threat or even an internal threat? That's going to wake up the rest of the world or the rest of America to wake up and smell the coffee. And so
I think it's.
I think either outcome is basically going to be decided on which one of those occurs. If it's an economic downturn, I think that is going to be a lot worse than a physical, collapse or whatever. A down home fucking on our soil fucking battles and shit like that, or terror attacks and shit like that. I think fucking economic destabilization of America is going to lead to more people looking to government because of the fact that the overwhelming majority of Americans do not understand what the fuck economics are or how they work. They still think that a dollar is a piece of paper. The overwhelming majority of Americans think that way. And so I think if it's some sort of economic collapse, that's going to be bad for us, for the American people, because of the fact that what's going to happen is the government is going to be looked to essentially fix this, because they're the ones that run the fucking economy for whatever fucking reason, but they're going to be the ones that are going to be looked to fix this, and essentially they're going to take advantage of that to basically clamp down, introduce digital dollars or whatever, and that type shit. So ultimately, you almost kind of hope that we get fucking hit with the terror attack, or that fucking some sort of revolution breaks out, or you almost kind of hope that there's violence in the streets to wake up, Americans. Especially because if something like that were to go down, well, the first thing that we're going to think is every single American needs to have a gun right now. Every single American needs to have free speech so that we can actually talk fucking candidly about all of these fucking issues. Like, we can't fucking sugarcoat shit anymore at that point. Like once a say a fucking like what happened in Israel style attack were to happen here, even just over a single day, that's going to basically instill those two principles in Americans to the fullest. One, we need to have free speech so we could have open, honest, productive discussions on the state of affairs. And two, everybody needs a fucking gun so that we can protect ourselves, because shit is going to hit the fan. And essentially that is going to bring about a greater sense of liberty rather than an economic collapse, which is going to bring about a greater fear of the unknown, and therefore further dependence on the government.
Yeah, longer lasting fucking pain and change, and yeah,
Yep.
for sure.
I mean, the average person knows how to deal with an existential threat, threatening your life. They don't know how to deal with fucking, why do my, like, look at people right now. Like, people just like, dude, I keep working extra hours, but I'm still feeling broker and broker each paycheck. People are just sitting there. When it comes to economics, people are straight up frogs in the pot, And so,
Yeah, and you have like almost the entire left and the entire establishment pushing it along. You know what I mean? It's both ways, like trying to crash the dollar and trying to get us into war all at the same time, man.
yep,
You know?
fucking crazy shit, man.
Yeah. It's a wild time to fucking to be living here for sure.
Yeah, shit, to say the least, man. Yeah, just wait till the swarms of locusts start, though. Then you'll really wake up.
All right.
Yeah.
Your firstborn son.
Yep. Shit. Yeah, dude.
You could fit so many plagues in this motherfucker, dude.
Yeah. Shit, most of them made in China.
They come from China.
All right. It's not racist at all. They come from China.
Right. Since when is fucking claiming a landmass fucking racism?
So, what do you give to the thought of basically we're on the verge of a spiritual epoch, or schism, or whatever you want to call it. Basically we're at the turning of a new era. Even spiritually, uh, just globally, what have you. What do you give to that whole thought? And in which case, if that is essentially what's going down here, because not only is it just a war of land and culture, it's a war of ideology at the same time. So what do you think the coming, I guess, era would look like if this is the closing of this era?
I don't know, man. It's hard to tell. History tends to repeat itself, obviously, and a reversion would be obvious. People flocking to, like you said, some religious aspects, right? I do see kind of a revival to an extent. I mean, even here out in the desert where I live, the little churches are fucking packed these days, right? You even have the likes of Salty running around the inner zones talking about wanting to go back to church, man. It's there's man always searches for it, and whether it's you find it or you try to replace it with the state, like we've seen for years now with the left, it just kind of sways either or, man. And again, like it just it repeats, and that's what I see. That's whether it's on a similar scale. I don't know. I mean, we'll not know if we'll have fill churches again across the country or some shit like that. But similar, man, similar to the '90s or something.
Yeah. I can I don't know, personally,
I don't think it's going to go much further than that. It's nothing widespread enough, dude, across like the entire population.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think if we are in the coming of a new era, I think it's going to be they say a apocalypse is a revealing of truth, or revelations, a revealing of truth and stuff like that. And so essentially, if this is the sort of end times, or the ending of the world as we know it, then therefore that's what kind of gives way to the idea that it may be the dawning of a new era and the end of an old one. So if it's a dawning of a new era that ends with a great holy war, I think it may be coming to the point of I guess a great revealing of truth when it comes to the past of the way that churches have been run and stuff like that, essentially to the point where yeah, I mean, of course, the idea of religion as we see all the time, it's a beautiful thing, unless your God tells you that it's okay to murder children and massacre civilians, in which case your religion is not a beautiful thing. Your religion is disgusting. But ultimately, I believe
If you
it.
believe you can marry 9-year-olds as well,
Right,
fuck right off.
right. Exactly. But I believe that basically the church or religion is not about God anymore. The religion is about church and doctrine and fucking dogma and fucking what's been written and stuff like that. And it's not actually the word of God, or it's not actually the idea of God anymore. It's basically become almost like a team sport type thing, and basically just like with everything that wields power over people, the power of belief is far more powerful than just about anything out there, especially because the power of belief is driven by the power of love, and so the power of belief is extremely powerful. And I think people have realized that for a long time. And essentially, the idea of religion, as beautiful as it is, it's a double-edged sword. And so therefore people have used that idea to wield the power for themselves, to wield the power of belief, to wield the power of love and God per se for themselves, And so I think basically that's the sort of a revelation that it's going to come to, because especially when it comes to the Israeli and Palestine fighting and stuff like that, it's essentially a fight over whose holy land is it, whose holy land has it historically been, whose God is essentially correct, or whose version of God is essentially correct. And basically this is going to come to extreme fucking things, extreme fucking crimes against humanity. That's what this is going to eventually unfold into, fucking, as we're already seeing, fucking with the mass murdering of civilians in the name of your God and shit like that. It's coming to horrible things in the name of God, which, like I said, has been co-opted by people and wielded for power. And I think that's what's going to be revealed, or that's what the actual truth is going to be. So ultimately, if both people are saying that this is their holy land, no, this is our holy land, no, this is what the doctrine says, no, this is what the doctrine says, obviously one of them's lying, or both of them are fucking lying, or both of them are fucking making it up. But
but I mean, it's going on like, it's that same shit. Like I just said, it's just perversion. It's over and over again.
right. And it's an unsolvable fucking problem. It's an unsolvable problem, and so ultimately people realize that. Lockheed Martin sure fucking realizes that, and they're betting on it,
Yeah.
And so fucking ultimately I think that's what the great revelation is going to be, is, the idea of fucking God and the power of belief has been fucking co-opted by evil fucking men for their own fucking gains. And I think that's what the great revelation is going to be. And basically, I think we're going to move into a more humanist, I guess, fucking future, rather than, religious future, Where basically we're going to be, a future based more on logic and based on individual, freedom, and basically a more egalitarian society rather than divine fucking hierarchies and shit,
Yeah, that or it'll be completely technology based, and we're both way the fuck off.
Right.
And,
But at the same
right?
time, technology is something created by humans, like it's
Right.
just because we use it to make our lives easier and stuff like that. Granted, yeah, people don't have to think as much anymore, but ultimately people are gonna use our mind and our time that we save from all these machines and these computers and all this shit that we built. We're eventually going to use it for something different, because ultimately we've come to the point where we realize that using it for nothing, or for fucking hedonism and shit like that, is ultimately a waste of life, and basically,
It's just getting fat.
yeah.
Really, it's crazy, man. Is I remember when I was like in the 5th grade, dude, and a teacher was telling us this theory about how we're gonna have short, stubby legs, we're gonna lose pinkies, we're gonna be bald and fat, and it's just from sitting being on computers all the time and shit. And I remember being a kid thinking, "There's no way," and now there's prime examples.
Right. And I think that's another fucking like great awakening that we have to come to is, like say religion is not a bad thing. It's just the way that it's been, turned over fucking millennia has become a bad thing, much like in the same way with like, I think like with the last epoch or the last, turning of an era with, the old fucking, pagan beliefs into basically monotheism and stuff like that to what we have today. I think essentially that probably went in a very similar way, essentially like because I hear people tell me, especially when they talk about like paganism and stuff like that, they'll be like, oh, like paganism was the way to go, they were all about the trees and the water and the animals, and they understood, how nature was, and they were in tune with nature and all this and that
noble
shit.
savage bullshit,
Right,
bro.
right. But then I'll also fucking point out, yeah, but they also used to believe in fucking murdering virgins in order to fucking make the rain come. Like, so, I mean, yeah, they're not exactly the best fucking example, But and then they'll be like, oh, like, well, Christmas was based off of fucking, paganism and this and that type shit. And it's like, oh, so you mean that we, basically took all of the best parts of the stuff that they, discovered with the ancient religions, and we basically consolidated it down into something, new and, basically more comprehensive for the average, person without basically, fucking, it's a whole fucking, power thing, basically fucking wars over fucking gods and shit like that basically made it to the point where fucking people are like, well, let's just fucking consolidate this type of shit and just simplify it so that way we're not fucking still fucking, praying for fucking rain and shit like that while we're slaughtering our fucking neighbors and shit, let's fucking, simplify this into, so that way we can move on and shit. And I think that's what this the second epoch was, and that's why we had fucking, all the advancements and shit that we did, that's why we had fucking such great nations fucking rise and all that type shit, and then
I mean, nations aside stuff, I think the religious thing, like I was saying, it's just man searches for fucking direction, structure. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like you almost needs a moral code thrust upon them rather than through actual true thought. And whether it's the state or what have you, I mean, it's it's gone the same. Like again, it just repeats. It's just with different aspects.
Yeah.
I mean, whether the state where it's fucking 26,000 pages, Nancy Pelosi saying we have to fucking pass the bill to find out what's in it, or it's fucking an obtuse fucking Bible that's been translated, edited, and translated, and fucking
Right.
kept obtuse so you fucking it's hard to grasp, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you could go on, man, and it's just the gap's gonna be filled with something, whether you take it as a spiritual aspect, whether you fill that with worship of the state, whether you just fucking pour yourself into doing absolutely nothing but working to where you don't think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing, really.
And that's why I think, like I said, so you mean we pick and chose the best parts from those, ancient savage fucking religions, and we consolidated them into one thing, and then we moved on with that for about 2,000 years or several thousand years and shit. And then now we're moving on to something else. So more than likely, it's not like the old religions are going to die. It's not like they're going to be completely fucking gone. They're just not going to, it's going to be consolidated into something different, We're basically going to pick and choose the best parts of it, and we're going to get all the fucking power and fucking the power fucking fights and the fucking jihads and all that type of shit, and the fucking the fucking the priests fucking molesting children because fucking what the fuck ever, and the fucking the preachers fucking with
Repressed.
multi fucking $1 million houses and fucking several cars and shit like that. We're gonna basically we'll remove that aspect of it, and basically we'll fucking move forward in a new type of spiritualism, I guess, where it's not so much focused on being subservient to a god, where it's more or less kind of focused on being the best human that you can, essentially it's not we're not looking to mother earth or mother nature or whatever, and then we're also not looking to fucking the father or fucking the universe or fucking god to basically protect us and watch over us anymore. I think we're coming into our own, where we're starting to realize, like, well, if life were to get completely wiped out, I'm pretty sure we can fucking figure out how to if we had even just a couple people still alive, we could figure out how to fucking mix some elements together to fucking create life again, because that's what humans are. We're fucking intelligent life, which is I think what all evolution has been moving toward. It's basically just the evolutionary arms race was just moving towards intelligent life. And then once we have reached intelligent life, I think intelligent life is now meant to basically be the insurance of life. Is basically, that's what intelligent life's purpose is to basically ensure that life in some sort continues to live on. Even if we were to end up destroying ourselves, as long as we send out just a couple fucking germs just off into the universe to go fucking start some single-celled fucking life on some distant planet somewhere new, basically just, I think that intelligent life's purpose is basically to ensure that some sort of life continues to exist,
Yeah, unfortunately, I think we're devolving. Like, I could definitely see what you're saying, like seeding, sending something out. But as far as that goes, it's you keep seeing examples of people being handed the bank and knowing how to run it.
Well, we're definitely
And
devolving, but we've been devolving over the last 100 or so or less years. Yeah, I mean, you can't say that fucking the people from the
say
1800s.
just decades.
Yeah,
Say just a couple decades, really.
I'd say if the fucking line graph of human intelligence has been going up and up and up and up and up, I'd say we're just on a nice dip. We're in a recession right now, and I think that's what's going to ultimately lead to the coming of a new era. Basically,
Yeah, you hope, man. Like I said, you hope it's not like a fucking Eloy Morlock type of situation, really. You know what I mean? Like I said, the technology replaces too much, man. You achieve this greatness with technology, AI, whatnot, robotics, and then it gets to the point where people don't have to do shit. And like how you're saying, we're going to use that extra free time to, basically, a new enlightenment or something. But in reality, chances are is we're going to sit around and get diabetes. You know what I'm saying?
Personally, I think we're going to come to a new purpose. I think we're going to, and I think our new purpose is going to be getting the fuck off of this rock. I think that's the next fucking culmination of humanity, of human civilization that we're going to come to is, okay, we can't fucking get along on this rock. Maybe if we had a couple extra rocks to fucking, hop around too. Maybe, fucking, we can't be fucking globalist and all agree on one thing. So why don't we have some more globes? I think that's the final, honestly, I think that's the solution that we're going to come to. And I honestly think that's probably the best solution. One thing that is for sure is our star is at one point going to die. So we better get the fuck out of here while we still can, So I think ultimately that's what the human fucking goal is, or the humanity is eventually going to turn toward as the goal of humanity is basically ensuring our survival. So whether or not we blow ourselves up, or whether or not the sun fucking blows us up, or fucking whether we get hit by a fucking asteroid or some shit, we got to fucking pull our heads out of our ass and realize that there's there's a possibilities really are endless. A lot of people like to say all the time, like, oh, there's no new ideas. That's just because fucking people don't think of them. There is ideas out there. There's still fucking plenty of fucking new thoughts to be had. There's still fucking plenty of shit out there that humanity hasn't even conceptualized yet. And all it's just taking is fucking people to focus and fucking stop. It's literally gonna take people getting fucking kicked up the ass in order to get their head unwedged from their fucking ass. That's what it's gonna take. And I think once that happens,
yeah, it's gonna take something.
All right. I think once that happens, we're going to get to a point where, like, dude, if you don't know how to code, that's like not knowing how to read, bro. I think we're, humanity's going to come to a point of that. We're basically like, oh, fucking, let me just make an app for this real quick. And that's just going to be common. That's going to be the average fucking person, or, I don't know. At least that's my hope. If I continue to just think of the fact that, fucking things get bad, but ultimately humanity does not want to die. So I think even if fucking jihadists and shit are willing to fucking destroy the earth for fucking their god and shit, the fact that the majority of the fucking, or even just a large portion, even if just half of the fucking world doesn't agree with your god, well, we're gonna fucking stop you by any means necessary.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's kind of wishful, man. You know what I mean? Like we can't even manage an economy, let alone fucking coming together as a civilization
No,
to
we we
build
we can.
generational ships.
We can. Don't absolutely. We definitely can. We have a infection of corruption. We have an infection of fucking greed. We have an infection of elitism. We have, infections of basically people that have, or proclaimed themselves fucking gods of humanity and shit. And basically they are all for themselves. They're just fucking, we have greed, we don't have freedom. That's what the problem is. If we had fucking actual freedom and we didn't have people that were in control of, everything, then we damn well could fucking have a thriving economy, have it fucking a thriving fucking, globe. It's all just fucking based off of bad people, and it's based off of the fact that people don't know how to recognize when they're getting, they don't know how to recognize fucking, fork tongues and shit like that. And fucking, they don't know how to decipher propaganda. And it's not necessarily humanity's fault. It's fucking propaganda's fault. It's the fucking elite people's fault. And it's basically, like I said, I think we're going to come to a fucking an age where basically, especially when it comes to information, really information, knowledge is what is key in all of this. If you are the only person within, your state or within your fucking nation that understands how economics works and how fucking, governments are run and how fucking civilization has worked, and everybody else is just stuck with their heads up their ass, you are going to rule over people. As long as you don't give up the game, as long as you don't tell other people what you're doing, people will fucking follow you. And we figure that out over fucking millennia and shit, of just leaders, fucking Machiavellians and shit, we figured out all this shit over time. And so essentially, with the age of information being the way it is, any fucking person could just look up any fucking thing about history, anything about fucking, how the human mind fucking functions, how fucking people's emotions function, how to rule people through fucking manipulation, how propaganda works. Like you could literally look up all of this stuff and just decipher it for yourself now. So I think the elites are not going to be able to have this, esoteric fucking stranglehold on the rest of the world, where basically they are the keepers of information, they're the keepers of knowledge, and the rest of the world is just, sheep, because of the fact that, we're able to share information at an instant all around the world, and I think that's basically what's bringing, humanity together, and basically bringing this huge wave of populism that we're seeing all throughout the world. Is basically people are able to share information. People are, aware that basically the people that have kept us under control are not able to do so as easily anymore, because of the fact that everything that they know, all of the fucking extent of their manipulation tactics and techniques has been tried and true and fucking played out again and again and again and again and again throughout history. So basically fucking people are able to share this information so quickly that as soon as it starts happening again, we're able to call it out like, oh, this is just like fucking back when the communists did this and this and this. And then fucking this is just like back, And so we're able to call out their bullshit like at a fucking moment's notice. So I think that's why they're pushing back on, so-called extremism. People that don't fucking foolhardily believe in the government. You must be an extremist. So I think that's why they're pushing back on that, because basically they know that people are waking up, and they know that there's nothing they can do to hide their evil anymore.
That was a long time, dude. But anyway,
My bad.
I don't see it that way. I see it white pill. See that as a white pill and a motherfucker. I don't think there's an enlightenment. I don't think that there's anything like that. I think the vast majority of the population are complete fucking morons, and they don't give two shits, or easily led, or do what they're told. The information, like you just said, is completely unlimited. People walk with an up to the second update date of information and still don't believe shit. You
Not
know
according to the polls.
It's complete cognitive dissonance.
Not according to recent polls, though, man.
Polls are because they're feeling the pinch economically. It's not because there's all of a sudden some light turned on or something. You know what I mean? It's because people are feeling the pinch in their pocket.
And because of the fact that, as we say all the time, they're not even hiding it anymore. It's blatant. An average fucking, if you're smarter than a fifth grader.
I don't think that's it at all. I don't think that's it at all, man.
Yeah.
You go on the Twitter zones. I mean, you can see fucking nonstop leftists fucking, whether it's the actual shills making the posts or the thousands of people in their comments that share the asinine views that are being spewed. I mean, there's a massive portion of our population that don't care. They don't care what information there is. Nothing. Whatever the cult says is what they're going to believe, say, and do. And like you said, the Dan Bongino thing, it hasn't gotten bad enough yet. You know what I'm saying? And how we were talking just minutes ago about what it would take, and it's going to take somebody feeling it. That's the only thing that snaps people out of it is hunger, thirst. You know what I'm saying? No electricity, shit like
Well,
that. Man.
we've already
And-
come to the decision that's inevitable. That's coming.
Hmm.
That's not, if that happens. No, that's when that happens. So
Right.
no matter what, that's going to happen. So this is the Great Awakening is going to happen. That kick in the boot that you're saying everybody needs is going to come. And so that's what I'm saying. All those people are going to die.
That's dealing in hypotheticals, though. I'm speaking in reality as far as people don't care. Like the information's there right now, and they refuse to see it or listen to it.
Yeah,
man.
those
You know
people
what
are
I
going
mean?
to those people are going to die, dude. Fuck them.
That's tens of millions. That's like half the country. You
That's-
know what I mean?
That's called
Probably
atrocity.
Because when I say half, I'm speaking of the left. There's also a massive portion of the right, like your fucking Q believers and shit like that,
Yeah.
are just as culpable and fucking asinine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like atrocities aren't just a few people. Atrocities are millions of people. Like I say, hard times are coming, and that means millions of people are going to die. Like, though, it's going to be those people. It's going to be the people that aren't paying attention. It's going to be the people that aren't aware. It's going to be the people that fucking just literally, walk blindfoldly into the fucking cages and, oh, okay, yeah. It's going to be the people that just blindfoldly fucking take the shots and just, oh, okay, yeah, government said so. Like those, like I said, yes, a huge fucking awakening is coming, and it's going to take a giant fucking boot literally crashing through a lot of fucking people's heads. Like that, yes, that's what it's going to be. Like that's what's coming. That's how fucking new world orders come and fucking go and shit through fucking mass genocide and fucking, horrible, terrifying, fucking monstrous things.
Do you think that, considering the state right now, right, of mass civilization, and then what would be left after some massive, earth-shattering event like that, do you think we have it in us, the people that would be left, to have the mind frame to have something like a Constitution, a Magna Carta, or even a better version of? You know what I mean? Because I mean, we're talking, the men that wrote those were well beyond the average IQ at this point.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It really all depends, like I said, on which side we flop onto. Like I said, we're at this precipice right now. Either we're going to allow ourselves to fall into complete tyranny, or we're going to allow ourselves to fall into complete anarchy for a while. And, basically the people that are left alive are going to understand the value of freedom, At least that's the hope, That's like it could go either way. One way or another, fucking something intense is coming,
Do you think that once somebody realizes freedom also entails like working, you know what I mean? Like for real working. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like from sun up to sundown every day. Otherwise, motherfuckers don't eat. Yada yada.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that may also turn a lot of people that were at first thought they were liberty minded towards the state.
All right. That's why I say. That's why I hope it's not an economic collapse. That's why I say you almost kind of hope for fucking terrorism or fucking civil war or fucking revolution, because otherwise we're going to fall onto the other side. We're going to just fall into allowing the government to just run roughshod on us over us because of the fact that we don't understand what's happening to our money. We understand when a fucking parachute is fucking dropping into our backyard. That we can comprehend. We can't comprehend when all of a sudden our dollar's not worth anything.
Yeah, like I said, that's a lot harsher pain for a lot further extended for real.
So I say, that's what freedoms is actually is,
Sir.
But I mean, it doesn't have to be like I say, it doesn't have to be abject freedom. I mean, it's going to be obviously we're going to have a rule of law. We're still going to be fucking America. It's just going to be a new America. It's going to be a more a nationalist America. It's going to be
You're gonna
about
be farmsteading with drones.
right. Yeah, they're pretty dope. Fucking crop dusting. Yeah, crop dusters automated these days.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be sick, man.
yeah, but yeah. And yeah, like you say, fucking, it's going to be hard times, but those hard times are going to give way eventually. I don't think it's going to be fucking like uh, 40, 50, 60 fucking years of just constant fucking infighting in America. I think it's probably going to be you know at least this is the hope. It's going to be just maybe a couple years of extreme fucking rough times. Like what was it, fucking Japan's economy when they fucking collapsed and shit. When they literally fucking did what America is talking, what the MAGA fucking movement is really kind of talking about, and basically they just buckled down, they gritted their teeth. They said we're gonna go through some hard times for a little while, and then dude, now their economy's back fucking on the upswing.
Right.
I mean, that's what you got to hope for, and that's why I think fucking basically America taking an anti-intervention fucking stance is going to give us more chance to get that accomplished, rather than if we fucking spread ourselves literally fucking all over the goddamn world. And I mean literally spread ourselves, like fucking spread our children's fucking blood all over the goddamn fucking world.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying earlier about Taiwan. Like an ally like that, that's somebody you want to help defend. That's someone that directly benefits you, your economy. You know what I mean? Your ability to produce a lot of products. And it like Israel, for instance. Again, I know this is that's racism, anti-Semitism at this point, but what do they do for us, man? What does it do for us to
Right.
fucking send them billions of dollars?
Yep. I agree, man. Yep. Fucking same with fucking Ukrainians. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I say fucking when it comes to the idea of basically just like what we just talked about, I have to fucking literally swallow it with the fucking pill of principle, just to like fuck, like this is extremely fucking rough, but the alternative is much worse.
Yeah.
But then again, you never fucking know, dude. Like again, being fucking libertarian, this is the last thing you want to say, dude. Maybe submission isn't so bad. Fuck it, dude. If it's at least, I don't know. Like I say, it's the last thing you want to think of. But dude, if it's almost inevitable, like, yeah, almost fucking, if this is the last fucking battle of liberty and shit, I almost just want to tell my kids, like, just fucking be happy, fuck being free. Just be happy, that's all you got to fucking worry about, like, because especially just if we're in a world where we're fucking fully controlled, dude, I don't know. I guess the best thing I could tell them is just, if you pretend like the work's not work, then you're gonna have a good time, man. Like,
Right. It's a social event,
right?
With work.
Right? Yeah. Like, shit.
Yeah, that's fucked up. That's a fucked up way to think about it, dude.
Right.
Accept your fucking lot as down at the factory making munitions or whatever. That would suck, man. But
And you almost maybe think that if this is that fucking, like I said, the fucking principles of Christianity and shit like that, really, I think were the initial spark of liberty, And so I think if this is the end of that, this could be the end of that as well, Like I think what really gives us our feelings of liberty is the fact that we believe that it's God given. We don't believe in God anymore. Well, then fucking what's God given? What does that fucking mean? And
yeah.
in which case I think, if we are on the dawn of a new epoch or a new era and shit like that, then it could be where basically, I think we talked about before, where science is a religion. Science is a religion these days. And, you know, fucking, I like to make a joke, you know, you can tell science is a religion because half the people that believe in it fucking don't understand it. And all the people that believe in it don't follow its fucking guiding principles. That's how you know it's a real religion, you know? Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
But
And the state as well.
yeah.
It's a religion as well, man. You got dueling religions.
So essentially, you know, fucking if this is, you know, the final fucking battle and shit, it just could be the end of God and basically worship of humanity, you know, worship of the state, you know. And in which case, you know, I mean, like I said, it could not be all bad, you know. Maybe we could get to a point where it's like, all right, you know, how about we stop fucking just, you know, endless wars? How about we work on mad profit, but instead of using that to fight each other, how about we use that fucking mad profit to, like, I don't know, fucking go find different fucking planets, go find new frontiers and shit, you know, go fucking be the best humanity that we can be and shit, you know, like I say, you know, if we're on the cusp of a new era, who knows what it's going to be, you know, but you know, signs do point to that. Especially if humanity
Yeah,
is to
you're right,
survive.
man. I mean, yeah, I mean, you know, there's plans out there, right? Trying to see if we can terraform, like on Mars, you know, testing theory and whatnot. But you know, obviously, to get to planets outside of our solar system is like a generational thing. And unless we're coming up with some, you know, crazy ass type of warp technology, I know that they've done it with inanimate objects. You know, it's pretty wild shit, but you know, not human like flesh as far as I'm aware. Um, you know, I don't know. I don't know if we can achieve it, man.
Dude, I'm sure if we focused on it and shit, dude, I'm pretty sure we could, you know. If we stop focusing on trying to control one another, or if we stop focusing on trying to control one another, and we could actually, you know, have a fucking education system that's focused on teaching, you know, our youth the the most advanced fucking that humanity has to offer, then I think that fuck yeah, dude, we could figure that shit out. You know, like I think if we, you know, if we get to the point where fucking, you know, uh, you know, coding and shit and fucking making new programs and apps and shit like that is as basic of a skill as fucking reading in society, you know, I think we could come to that fucking that era, and then basically, you know, people aren't going to be writing books anymore. People are going to be creating fucking apps and creating fucking worlds and creating fucking, you know, you're not going to have to fucking just try and explain your ideas. You could literally fucking, all right, so here's my idea of how, you know, society can function and shit, and you could literally fucking have it play out through AI and shit like that. Like I don't know, they like, yeah, it's
So your Neuralink, dude,
right,
connected to Starlink that can project it across the inner zones.
right. I mean, ultimately, you always have to keep in mind though, you know, I mean, the religions are not going to die out. You know, it's just going to be fucking the best parts of it are going to be maintained, and fucking all of the rest of it is going to be dropped. You know, like all of the fucking yeah, I don't know, fucking ideas of heaven and hell and shit like that, you know, fucking afterlife or whatever, you know, fucking I think a lot of that stuff's gonna, you know, probably fucking end up getting tossed or whatever, you know, or you know, I don't know, man. Like I think a lot of just the morality of it's going to remain, you know, the positive morality, the fucking just the ideas that it you know created and shit like that. They had, you know, I think a lot of that's going to remain. But I don't know, man. Crazy ass shit.
Yeah, damn good, dude.
Yeah, fucking about 2 hours now. Fucking
Yeah,
yeah, fucking definitely crazy ass
hot
times we've been
coffee.
living in. Right?
Yeah, and you know, you fear for your kids, man.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, you never want your kids to unfortunately be a cost to the hard times. But
Yeah.
like you said, something's coming. You can feel it. I think everyone can feel it. Like there's, you know, it's almost like a major, you know, inhale, waiting for something to happen.
Yep. Fucking yeah, fucking world is a powder keg right now, you know? It's just waiting
Yeah.
to fucking for a spark to fucking go off, you know. But I don't know, man. Fucking ultimately I think, you know, if our best hope, at least for this fucking point, yeah, old Trumpster back in the office, man. We gotta get Trump, man. We got 2024, bro. I think that's
The damn
Right.
The damn bat signal, but it's Trumpsicles, dude.
Right. Hey, yeah. Not to sound fucking all partisan and cliched at the last moment, man, but I honestly think that's probably our best fucking hope at this present fucking moment in time, you know?
Yeah, like you said, foreign policy wise and domestic economics as well.
Yep. Yep. To anybody else, fucking Democrat or fucking Republican, is going to be fucking a warmonger, you know? They're just gonna fucking push for World War III. And yeah, I think fucking Trump is, and maybe Vivek Ramaswamy, but he doesn't got to have a goddamn chance, But Trump is the only motherfucker up there that's pushing for fucking like, no, let's stop fucking going to war. How about we stop intervening in the world? I think he's the only person up there that's actually kind of spouting those principles, at least in the presidential field. I mean, even in the like in Congress and shit like that, I gotta say, man, like Matt Gaetz, dude, dude's a boss, man. Dude's a
Sticks
bad
to his
motherfucker.
guns for sure, man.
Yep.
And it's insane that using the power allotted to you is looked at as being extreme now.
Right. Because the fucking uniparty, man,
Like
they're gonna try and
you
they're gonna
use
fight
the
to
rules
defend
that we
themselves.
agreed to.
He's fucking using the Constitution against us, man. Arrest him.
Yep. Kick him out of Congress, man.
Yep. Fucking censure his ass, man.
Right, ridiculous shit.
Hell yeah. But anyway, man, I'll go ahead and hop on out of here. We appreciate you guys stopping by. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share this video out with your friends and families. If you guys are not already, make sure you guys subscribe to the old Swine channel over here. Links are going to be in the description below. Yeah, man. Anything you wanna add before we head on out?
No, everybody be safe, man. Be vigilant. And just because the day of jihad didn't pop off doesn't mean it wasn't a ruse and one isn't still coming, man.
Yeah.
Like the Bongino said there, don't live in fear, man, but embrace it, bro.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Look around. Make sure you know where your family is and that they're safe.
Oh yeah.
Smell you.
Shit. Fuck yeah. Yeah, definitely make sure you guys subscribe to us over on Rumble as well. We may start streaming every now and then to Rumble as well. Just I like to follow it on Rumble. I like Rumble. I want to support the platform a bit more.
Alternate economy, man.
Yep. Fucking parallels economy, public square. Yeah. All right, bro. Catch you guys later.
All right, brother.